Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days. Saturday, what a day. Listening to Cosmere Chronicles, the podcast we follow two first-time readers, Jasnah and Sheta, and we chronicle their journey through Brand Sanders's Cosmere series. On today's episode, we'll be chronicling the Stormlight Archive, The Way of Kings, chapters 7 through 11. So now, let's throw it over to the host of Cosmere Chronicles. This is Joe! Thank you, Joe. Hello, everyone. Once again, we are back with Cosmere Chronicles. Returning this week is me, Joe, and also returning are Justin and Sheta after their long hiatus.
Ooh, it's good to be back, Joe. Justin, are you back? Is he already out?
Either it's a joke or he's already lost connection. Oh, I said we were coming back after a long hiatus, but as I say that, I realize that we did, when this episode comes out, there was a week off. I did not realize that when I said that. So there kind of was a hiatus.
Well, it's not a long hiatus, so it still works.
Oh.
All right, you caught me. I was enjoying the vacation. Now I got to get back to talking to these fucking assholes. Wait, we're not recording it, are we? Hey guys. Hey, love having you here.
Oh, that was lame. Lame. Okay. Now for random questions for the week. What's your favorite movie trilogy? Go.
That's an interesting one.
Well, I guess I'll be basic and say Lord of the Rings. But are we counting ones where a third movie would be 3, but then they split it into 2? Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Which one were you thinking there? Were you thinking Twilight or Hunger Games?
Yeah, one of those. I mean, even Harry Potter did that with
like
their last
5
one being
movies.
Well, I know, but then the last movie, they're like, you know what? Let's just stretch this into a 2-parter.
Well, with Hunger Games now, you have there are like 2 more movies. Well, only one's been released.
Yeah, but those are not part of the trilogy.
No, they're prequels.
Yeah.
This is a tough one, man. I think I'm going to go with the Evil Dead trilogy. Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness.
Really?
Mm-hmm. You
As
don't
like,
think so?
Well, I guess to me, a trilogy is an opportunity to tell like a very epic, like long story. And for me, Evil Dead is always like 1 step forward, 2 steps back. So I'm just surprised.
No, you changed my mind. Shit, completely agree with you. So I will go with.
And you can pick it.
No, I agree with you. If it's not trilogy, doesn't make it better, then we'll shit if it was a trilogy or not.
Yeah, like it's a great, those are great movies, but
like I like the Die Hards. I'm not going to pick that. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm going with the original Star Wars. Most basic answer, but one that I think a lot of people would answer.
That's a good one too.
You should have said the sequel trilogy.
Well, then I would be saying that might be my least trilogy.
I don't know. I liked it.
Oh, there are some pretty bad trilogies out there.
Yeah.
When
I diss from front to back, so that helps.
What?
Nothing.
All right. Because all you said was dislike front to back. I don't know if you said anything before that.
Many curses, I assume, that got censored. A glimpse of what?
Your personal life.
Oh, God, yeah. I'm sorry, Sheta, did you answer yours and I didn't get to hear it?
I did. I said I'm going to be basic and say the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Mm-hmm. That's
Extended.
A good one. Extended.
Yeah.
I don't even know the last time I watched a theatrical cut of those movies.
Why would you?
In the theaters?
All right. And then mine, I guess I will be with Sheta and go with the Lord of the Rings. But an honorable mention to the Dark Knight trilogy.
Ooh, that's good. My honorable mention would be the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy.
So you're putting At World's End in there?
At World's End was awesome. What are you talking about?
I was
sure
so
it drags and it has
movie.
Some weird moments, but it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
There were good things in there, but so much. When I was going to see that movie, it did not live up to what I had expected after seeing the first 2 movies.
Doesn't stop that I love the franchise, and I love pirates.
And I think it ends everyone's story well. The villain's got the best endings ever. It doesn't have a Kraken, which is a shame. They've got a giant whirlpool, which is pretty cool. What's the other really cool part in there?
So much of the advertising, they're showing like characters. Oh, hey, Chow Yun Fat's gonna be in it. Chow Yun Fat's gonna be in it. He's in like just the opening like 15, 20 minutes, and that's it.
Yes. That's why it's only an honorable mention, Joe. Get off my back.
Yeah, Dark Knight trilogy. You're putting Dark Knight Rises in there, Joe.
After watching Dark Knight, I'm like,
I have no problems with the Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, I have them. I like the movie. I have a billion fucking problems with it. I could go all day with problems about that movie, but I do still like it.
Never mind. I did not like trying to all of a sudden say that Joseph Gordon-Levitt was Robin at the end of the movie. That part I thought was dumb.
One of the many dumb parts in that movie. That does not live up to the one before it. Honorable mention will be the Matrix trilogy, of which there are only 3, luckily, and they never made another one.
What about the Animatrix? And Enter the Matrix?
That's more of a... Well, that's not a movie. And the Animatrix is more of a side thing. I do count
those. But those are direct, like the Animatrix, especially the CGI one.
But what and like short cartoons? Yeah, which is like 4 minutes long. So not a trilogy.
But that one is it's brought up and it's pretty important to the main series, especially in the video game. So they recorded so many scenes for the video game and
do not things to follow the story of the movies, even in any way whatsoever. They're cool. I like them, but they are not necessary.
Extended universe stuff not included. Trilogy. Yeah, I mean, Star Wars.
Okay, and then all right, let's do some negativity. What is your most hated?
No negativity.
No, sorry. Best. What is your least favorite? I can't remember if I ever said it, but what is your most hated final episode of a TV series?
Oh no,
Dexter.
Why are you bringing back these bad memories, Joe?
Percent Dexter. That was such a bad finale. It's tainted the whole show. I'm not somebody who's going to spoil things, but the seasons were already getting kind of stupid at that point, but that finale takes a couple left turns that make you can't fathom these are the same characters or writers in any way whatsoever. It's one of the dumbest things I've ever watched in my entire life. I refuse to watch the revival shows just because I hate that finale so much. I don't care if they fix it. The whole thing's torched, in my opinion.
Yeah, I might have to go with Dexter too, just because that was one of my favorite shows. And then, yeah, and it's just so like you can't undo that. So yeah, I will go with Dexter.
Some things in there that you cannot unfix. They're just ruined. And it's just shit. And all to have some kind of, it's an ending. We need to have some gravitas all lazily. I fucking hated it.
Yeah, that if I had to define or describe it, it'd be like a kid trying to be clever on their last minute like project that they're doing, and then they just
after they were already getting like at that point like at least a C-, they were gonna pass, just barely. But then they decide to just, take a shit on it for no reason at the last second, thinking it's subversive.
Just stop while you're ahead.
Yeah, if they would have just canceled the show at any random point after season 4, it would have been a better show.
Oh, that's brutal, but true.
I kind of feel that with Nip Tuck. If you end Nip Tuck at the end of season 4, great ending. Season 5 and 6 had a couple good moments here and there, but the quality was so far down below what Nip Tuck should have been. But my most hated final episode, it's not even the episode, it's just the last 2 minutes of the show ruined so much of the show, and that'd be Quantum Leap. Yes. Watching it, you're watching the episode, and you get to the final episode, and it's like, it's a pretty good final episode. So much... I'm not going to spoil it, but it's like so much of it. It's like pretty good. It's like it's bringing you nostalgia for so much of the series. Like, all right, this is good and stuff. And in the last 2 minutes, all of a sudden it's just like, what the hell? And they also, little text box, they have Dr. Sam Beckett's name, and they spell it wrong. They don't even spell the main character's name correctly.
Oh, that is
So
like
it
a
was a
book
different
report.
guy, so it's all good. Yeah.
Funny.
Part of the problem is I think that they didn't know if it was going to be the final episode or not, so they recorded it as a way where it could be a final episode, or it could also, the show could continue after that. But then when it was going to be canceled, it's like, all right, let's throw up this final thing, and yep. And they spelled the main character's name wrong. And I thought the new series, when they started that up, oh, this is going to fix, like, they're going to go and they're going to fix the end of that show. It's like, they're referencing some of the original series, but also they're breaking their own time travel rules in the new show, and it's just not as good.
Well, it's a modern revival. Of course it's not.
Yeah. I asked if there were any revivals that were good.
I know there
The
are.
24 one was okay, even though it was just a season. It was okay.
24 live another
just live
day,
another
was
day.
it?
Yeah. Other than that, I'm trying to think of one that was
succeeded
good.
in reviving something.
Oh, King of the Hill. King of the Hill was really good, and it's been really well received too. That's the only one I can think of.
Animaniacs?
Animaniacs was okay, but it wasn't really that popular.
I'm trying to I never No, those are movies. Those aren't TV shows, so the 21 Jump Street doesn't count.
That'll be next week's question. Worst revival.
But I have to go back. I have to change it after saying all that stuff. The worst final episode of a show, Star Trek Enterprise. Just straight up, if you watch it, don't watch the final episode. The episode before the final episode, much better final episode. The final episode of Star Trek Enterprise is garbage. It shits on the entire series. And the final episode of Star Trek Enterprise is more about the next generation than it is about Enterprise. So there. That's my worst final episode.
Wait. Oh no, I'm sorry. I was wrong. It was not Dexter. It was Penny Dreadful had the worst final episode. Because halfway through the season, suddenly the show just ends out of nowhere and then just says the end because no one knew it was the end of the show yet. And it didn't wrap up half of the plot lines and just tossed characters aside. That was my most hated finale ever. Because I read online, too, that it was just kind of like unceremoniously canceled, but they let him wrap it up like in 2 seconds while having scripted to have more story coming. So I am changing to that. I forgot about it.
I thought of picking that too, but that at least was circumstances, like.
That's true. That is a good reason.
For Dexter, I'm like, what are
it.
you doing? Like, you had all this time to write a really good ending, and like, but yeah. Pretty Dreadful, they're like, fuck, we have to do what we have to do, like.
But the other reason that I'd pick it is Dexter. By that point, I'm like, okay, well, at least the show's over. I don't have to watch it anymore. Penny Dreadful, I'm like, man, I can't wait for what happens next. Wait, the end? Like literally on the screen? What the fuck?
Yeah.
That was such a disappointment.
I mean,
especially when like a few episodes.
More,
Yeah, a few episodes earlier, they're like, the one guy's like, and I'm gonna go to Egypt now. Hope I don't bring any mummies back to bring a mummy into this. And you're like, oh, okay. And then nothing of that.
Yeah.
Oh,
that was probably one of the most heartbreaking ones for me.
Yep. I'll stand by that.
All right. Well, let's move on from our worst TV shows, and we'll go back to Way of Kings with Sheta. It's your turn to recap last week's chapters.
All right, so we follow a new character, Shallan, right? Yes, we did. In which she traveled to. She has a whole thing with her family, and she's trying to get this princess basically to take her in as a what is that? Understudy person, and that's her only chance to save her ward to help maybe save her family from despondency and murder, probably because their dad just died. She goes to fight. Has been following her for a couple months, weeks now, but she keeps disappearing. But she finally runs into the princess and asks her to take her on, and she says no. Basically, the princess uses her magic stone to transmute materials and it's really rare, and it's like the one that her dad has, and this is where she reveals that she plans to steal it. She's not actually trying to work under her.
It revealed that.
Okay, yeah. She's planning to steal the magic stone from her instead.
It's more of a glove with chains on. It's a soulcaster. The gems are just used to power it.
Oh, okay. So it's like a power glove. Okay.
It's so bad.
So, yes. Then we go back to Kaladin, and he is he's being sold to the king's army or something, but then actually he is made to join in the bridge crew, which is a group of slaves who have to basically run with the bridge and for all the soldiers to walk on over and cross cliffs from. And it's one of the worst jobs you could have in the army. And the guy in charge of it has like a death threat on Kaladin. Is that it? Yeah, and he's stuck there now. That's where he's.
Yeah, not a lot happened, but it happened for a long time. That's how I remember it.
Okay, yeah.
Really wanted you to know how shitty that bridge was.
Yeah, it sucked.
Yep. So this week we continued the book, went chapters 7 through 11. So, as usual, I'll ask you two, how are you two feeling about these chapters?
I really liked it. It's exactly what I hoped would happen. So, like, weirdly, exactly what I hoped. So,
To me, I feel like I'm finally getting into the book. Like, I'm really interested in both of our major plots now, where before I didn't know exactly where things were going to be going, but now I feel like I can kind of, see the basic trajectory of our main characters a little bit. And I'm very interested to see these ideas or these things explored.
This is like the intro of the game is done, and you're finally getting into the level up part and the game part.
Because that's your favorite part?
Yeah. You're like, all right, now I know what I got to do, and I'm excited to do it.
All right, we've played as Roxas for 3 hours. Now it's time to get to play as Sora.
Oh, no, nothing like fucking that. No. God, no. If we did that,
that part's not as bad as some parts of it were bad, but I remember listening to one podcast once where they were talking about that, and they said it was the greatest video game experience ever. Not sarcastically.
It's really, that's for sure. It's really unique, and it really makes when you do finally start playing the game, feel a lot more big and epic.
I don't know what game you're talking about.
It's, you'll see soon. It's, if you just imagine you're a kid who got it, you're excited to run home to play, and then you've got 3 hours of shit that you have no idea what the fuck it is that you did not sign up for.
Well, the story of it is great. It's so like trying to do tutorial stuff that takes so long. It's just like, oh, check out the 7 wonders of Twilight Town. Oh,
I don't care how good a story is. If you sell me on one story and then give me another story for 3 hours, I'm gonna have a little bit of a problem.
Man, what does it remind me of? Probably blocked
maybe
it.
A movie or a TV show, and they just.
Where's Superman? That's what I think.
Yeah.
When I'm watching.
Yeah, it feels a lot like Superman 3.
Yeah.
Sign up to watch Richard Pryor for 2 hours.
Well, it's Richard Pryor having to be toned down for children, not the Richard Pryor you want.
I don't care if it was the Richard Pryor I want. If I go into Superman and I've got to watch anyone who's not him for 2 hours, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Superman 3, starring Richard Pryor, with guest star Christopher Reeve.
Yep.
All right. Well then, let's go into the chapters then. This week, starting off with Chapter 7, which was called Anything Reasonable. Epigraph. They are a flame. They burn. They bring the darkness when they come, and so all you can see is that their skin is a flame. Burn, burn, burn. Subject was a baker's apprentice.
I wonder if he's talking about bread rolls burning in the oven or something.
I like it. I read it as a lot more epic, but through that context,
Yeah, like I'm imagining angels from
Stop.
ascending, but like, yeah, this is just like a
Mhm.
bored baker sitting in the shop.
And then he slipped on some water and fell.
Yeah, he's starting to get poetic.
All right. So this chapter, we're back with Shallan. And Shallan, she's thinking about what she can do to get Jasnah to change her mind. And Shallan thinks about how her family and how House Devar had risen out of obscurity in the last few years. This was mainly because of her father's skin in politics, and also that they had gained new wealth from newly found marble deposits on their land. Only after he died, though, did they find out the truth that their father was using his forbidden soulcaster to make new marble deposits whenever they needed new influx of cash. And she thinks about how his soulcaster had been damaged on the night that her father died, but she forces herself to stop thinking about it. And they had a jeweler fix the soulcaster, but it still would not work. Their steward, Luesh, was trained to use it, but he could not get it to function. And her family has time, probably about a year, before her father's absence became obvious. Her brothers are currently at home, they're writing letters and making appearances, all to try to cover up the fact that their father is dead.
So they are doing the Weekend at Bernie's thing.
Mm-hmm. You know, the way this was described with them doing this to help her with her plan made me had more credence to your theory, Sheta, that she'd just talk them into this stupid shit.
It's like, I got this, guys. You just keep pretending that he's still alive, and I got this. Like, man, they love their sister so much. They're willing to humor her.
Yeah, that's it. To humor her.
Yeah, and so Shallan has the task of finding Jasnah and getting close enough to her to swap her broken soulcaster for Jasnah's. And then, when they have Jasnah's soulcaster, they'll be able to make new marble deposits and make money to pay off their father's debts.
Okay,
Shallan
how old
still
are
doesn't
they
know.
again? I'm sorry. She's
Shallan's 17.
Okay, this just sounds like a little baby plan. I don't know. It's a little better that they aren't just planning to steal it and they're planning to like replace it and trick it, but
Yeah, but in a little bit she says, I don't know how I'm going to do this or how I'm going to get away with it. Like, you haven't figured that out yet? What is this, Ocean's 8? Like, this is such a stupid nothing.
Well, to be fair, I don't think they really have that many good options to begin with.
Yeah, I got a good option. Be poor like everyone else. There you
Yeah.
go. Run away.
Yeah, run away is probably the best option.
I don't
Run
know
away.
that their father left them with a good situation here.
Since they've been talking about how if the debtors come, there's a good chance they'll either be sold, they'll either become like slaves to them or possibly killed.
Hey, Kaladin's doing it just fine. Maybe that's how we can merge our two stories.
What are you in for?
Yeah.
Trying to steal the princess's flower glove.
Oh, I'm pretty sure you'll be executed for that.
Yeah, and Shallan still doesn't know exactly how she will steal the soulcaster without implicating herself. But she does think that Jasnah has many enemies, so she could try to pin the blame on one of them.
Oh,
but first,
man.
she must become Jasnah's ward.
I'm starting to feel kind of bad for her. That's not a plan.
And a servant comes up to Shallan, and Shallan asks to be brought to the Palanaeum. And as they arrive, the Palanaeum has, I believe it was like the Palanaeum has all the books. Then she's in this other area called the Vale, which is where they have like alcoves and stuff to sit in. And as they arrive, Shallan is shocked by its beauty. And she is told that both the Vale and the Palanaeum were there before the city was even founded, and it might have been cut by the Dawn Singers themselves. In order to, use it, she will need a chit of admittance, though, and one of those costs 1,000 sapphire bromes. The king's hospitals, they need upkeep, and the only things that Kharbranth has to sell are fish, bells, and information. And the Palanaeum has over 700,000 texts. In comparison, Shallan's father only had 87 books, and she has read those many times over. Shallan asks if she can just wait in a reading alcove if she is waiting for someone. And, they allow her to, so she has them bring her to Jasnah's alcove. As Shallan leaves the Palanaeum and all those books behind, she feels like a child again, locked in her room because of her father's paranoia. Shallan needs to change Jasnah's mind, but Shallan hates confrontation. As a child, she had felt like a piece of delicate crystalware locked in a cabinet only to be displayed. She was the only daughter of her family. And memories then attacked Shallan, memories of Non-Balat bruised, and a long sword in Shallan's hand that is sharp enough to cut stone. But Shallan forces herself to stop thinking of the past. She takes out her spheres, put them into this goblet in order to use it for light in the alcove, and then she pulls out her drawing utensils in order to clear her mind. And then she brings back her memory of the city that she had taken earlier, because she kind of has like an eidetic memory when it comes to like she'll close her eyes and take what she called a memory, and it's like a picture that's in her mind, and that stays in her mind until she draws it, and then it goes away.
I don't know if this is relevant, and don't tell me if it is, but I'm noticing they capitalize memory every time she talks about it in this way.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Which, being that when things were capitalized in previous books, I apparently should have been paying attention. I took note of more than I normally
really
would.
Weird. Dang it. Another reason. Like, that's a very big detail.
Another reason for reading?
To, read with real things. Like, this is going to be like House of Leaves or something. Where it's very important.
I doubt at that level.
Okay. But still,
yes,
like,
the
more
word,
than I thought.
The word house was purple every time in this book. Sheta.
Whoa! That's cool.
Or blue, that was it, I'm sorry.
Oh man, there's another one of Brandon Sanderson's book that came out where if you get the hardcover version, the one that's published from Dragonsteel, it's like depending on where they are at in where the story's taking place. A bunch of it will be normal pages, and then you get when they're at a different place, it switches to black pages with like white ink.
That's
cool.
badass.
Man, how did they do that?
Is that
like
hard to do?
Well, like,
I don't know a lot about paper, about book
well,
binding.
you cannot do white ink. It would have to be black ink on top and then just not putting it on the white. Like,
so that's probably it, right?
Like, so that would be a lot.
I was wrong. It's silver ink.
Okay.
Well, that's badass.
And that's still like really hard. That's
especially like if someone's read it for the first time, it's normal pages, then all of a sudden you flip and you're at a different area and it switches to black pages. And then when they go back to the first area, it's back to white pages.
cool.
All right. And so Shallan draws the city. Next, she brings up her memory of Yalb and the porter, and she begins drawing them. And as she draws, little creation spread pop up around the sketch. And Shallan thinks about how others like to collect trophies or weapons, but she collects people. It might be because she spent her youth in a virtual prison and her father would get upset to see her drawing dark eyes, so she would just remember their faces and then draw them later.
Shit, I wanted to ask at this part, because it says the creation sprint only pop up if you're drawing quite well,
Mm-hmm.
And
Have I seen
my
any?
artistic talent isn't that high or as high as yours. Would you find those annoying if they started popping up, or would you find it like inspiring in some way?
I would fucking love that.
You would love it.
I would be like, I'm making magic. I feel like I would like it so much.
They would inspire you.
I already have candles, and I have my candle lantern and stuff like that. Like, I want that to happen for my kind of art. So that would be so magical for that to happen.
I feel like I'd be trying to swat them away like bugs all the time.
No way. They're not even like substantials, you said. So it's just like light.
Yeah, they wisp away, yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be so magical to happen. Like, I almost feel like it's like like Tinkerbell fairy pixie dust that's coming in.
And then Shallan pulls out a third sheet and she brings up her memory of Jasnah right before Jasnah soulcast a stone. And, even if Jasnah rejects Shallan again, Shallan has still captured her in this drawing. Once Shallan finishes that, she begins to write a letter to Jasnah. She figures Jasnah would appreciate the determination that she's showing. In her letter, Shallan explains her schooling. She did not have the formal schooling that someone like Jasnah would have had. She had 3 tutors in her life, but they never lasted long because they quit because of her father's temper. Her stepmother was also uneducated because where they lived, they just did not see that as important. So instead, Shallan studied on her own with her father's books. In the letter, she asked Jasnah if she would rather have a ward that can just repeat answers that have been drilled into them, or a ward that has struggled and fought in order to learn.
I wish that would have worked on my college professors. He's like, yeah, but I'm super creative. You should just give me an A for being creative and smart. Like, I'm smart. Like, like I can't. I didn't memorize all the stuff, but I'm smart.
I
Sorry.
found this letter so interesting, kind of for the reasons you're saying, in that it's kind of cringy to write, but you've got to be kind of honest in a way, you know? Like, I was trying to think, would this work, you know? And, like, I really liked at the end when she's like, it seemed kind of fucking stupid when she wrote it all out, but it was like her only play, she felt, you know? I thought this whole part was really interesting.
Okay, but my I thought it was interesting, like that idea, but she does say, and this is kind of a theory, but like after she drew her, she kind of knew Jasnah more and thought
Oh,
that
you
this
think
might
so?
work for her. Yeah, because she describes her like, she's a smart, logical, rational woman, rational woman, and like if you just gave a good argument, she would like that and think about it more,
Mm-hmm.
So I think before that, like, you wouldn't think of that.
That's an interesting theory.
And then Shallan thinks about how she is only doing all of this just to steal from Jasnah, and her conscience begins to itch, and she almost just crumbles the letter. And then a man in his early 20s arrives, and from the way he is dressed, Shallan knows that he is an ardent. And if you haven't put it together from what they're talking, ardents are pretty much like priests or monks in their religion.
Hmm.
Yeah. And he tells her that he's also here to wait for Jasnah, and he asks to join Shallan. When Shallan talks to him, she's very formal, and he tells her, don't be so formal with me. And his name is Cabsal.
Joe, you forgot to say that he's very handsome.
You did point that out. That is true.
Yeah, Shallan also did think that this priest was very handsome. And even after he tells her to stop acting formal, Shallan still acts very formal and respectful to him. And the two of them kind of talk a little bit, flirt a little bit, and then Cabsal eventually is like, you know what? To get you to stop trying to treat me with so much respect, I'm just going to climb up on top of this table and do a little jig. And that finally gets Shallan to relent and promise to no longer treat him with respect. And he chuckles and says that...
Go ahead.
Yeah, he chuckles and says that the table jig almost always works.
This goes to show a lot of my bias, because I'm like, if you're handsome, you can get away with doing the cringiest, dumbest things. Like, if someone said that to me, if they were like not handsome, I'd just leave. But because he's handsome, I'm like, oh, you're so funny.
I think charm is part of it too, because if you were ugly and charming, you could get away with that. But if you're ugly and awkwardly off-putting, that would be one of the most unbearable things to see of all time.
Sheta, you don't actually know how handsome he is. Shallan just said he was handsome. It's still all in your mind.
I trust her.
Do you trust her judgment? You trust her judgment?
Yeah, she's like a
Justin, we established last week that Sheta is Shallan.
Yeah, I am Shallan. So her type is my type.
I guess so.
And I do like the monastery types. They're like a good boy.
Yeah, okay. Another weird, freaky kink to add to the list.
He's so innocent. He thinks dancing on a table or doing a jig
is funny.
Just
stop.
Well, Justin, at least we've gotten to the point where Sheta can have a ship to attach to now.
That's true.
And Cabsal looks at Shallan's drawings, and he is impressed by him. He asks her who taught her, and she tells him that it was Dandos the Oilsworn. And Cabsal's like, oh, that's pretty shocking, since Dandos died 300 years ago. And Shallan explains that she learned how to draw from Dandos's writing. And that shocks Cabsal that she was able to learn all this just from reading somebody's how to art. Terrible grammar from me.
How to art for dummies.
And then Cabsal's just like, here, I'll lacquer this for you. And he, goes and begins to lacquer the picture of Jasnah.
Oh, I would never let that.
She's a bit uncomfortable because she thinks he might ruin it.
Like, excuse me? Oh, man. I was surprised.
That she reacted in the way an artist...
Yeah. That's pretty. Yeah, I would never let that happen. So yeah, I'm glad she reacted the way I would react in a situation like that.
Yep, and but he does it. He doesn't ruin it. She can tell that he knows what he's doing, and he tells her that she must be from Yakaved, not because of her hair color, but because of the way that she treats him. Yeah, the church in Yakaved is the most traditional out of all of them. And he asks what Jasnah thinks of her drawing, and Shallan admits that Jasnah just does not think much of it. And he asks Shallan how she became part of Jasnah's entourage, and Shallan apologizes, saying that she's not associated with her. She's just hoping to become her ward. And Cabsal asks, alright, can you do me a favor? And Shallan says, yeah, I'll do anything. After he kind of gives her a look, she amends it to anything reasonable. And anything that Shallan determines is reasonable. After that, he's just like, oh, pity. And he asks her to tell Jasnah that...
Yeah, what the fuck was he gonna ask there? What the
Right?
hell
What
was
the
that part? That
hell?
was weird.
This was some pretty hot flirting, is all I'm saying.
No, to me, that was some, wait, I'm in a room alone with you vibes.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't know that priests were gonna be so forward like that.
Mm-hmm.
What's happening?
Yeah, and he says that he's tried to gain an audience with Jasnah many times in the past, never did, and he's hoping to become the person that's able to convert Jasnah. As he's leaving, Cabsal asks Shallan what she's fond of, and she answers that she likes jam. After he leaves, Shallan prepares to leave herself, but then Jasnah arrives, and Jasnah does not look pleased.
Sorry, but
And
their
that's
whole
the end
thing
of the chapter.
is so nerdy. You have like a nerdy Christian guy, not Christian, but a religious guy, monk, and then like a nerdy girl studying in the library or drawing. It's just the nerdiest like meet cute I've ever seen. Like
I don't know. Can you get nerdier than Ellen at that party?
yeah, but at least they were at a party. They weren't like in a library, you know? Like
I guess you're right.
No, the nerdy ones are always like the two people are in a library or a bookstore. They both reach for the same exact book at the same exact time.
Oh, God. Oh.
Yeah.
I've seen those more than once, and it always just, it's like, all right.
Like, oh, you read this as well? Wow.
Ellen,
I didn't know anyone was aware of that
cringe.
writer. I thought
Yeah.
everyone just read popular stuff like Twilight nowadays. Is that the kind of scene you're talking about?
Yeah. No, I'm super into this thing that you're into.
Twilight's just derivative of that, yada yada. I find the best vampires.
Whoa, you're so smart.
Some stupid fill in the blank crap.
You know what? We should write a book.
Of just all generic tropes.
Yeah.
Or Justin, would you consider when they first meet up when Artemis and Parzival first meet up in Ready Player One as nerdier?
Oh, I don't even remember how that one goes.
They were in the Tomb of, I can't remember the original. Tomb of Horrors was the original name. New one's Annihilation, and because she's trying to go down there to fight the Lich again, and he's already beaten it, and because they have to go down there to face it in Joust and stuff, and and he's all nerdy now because he thinks she's super hot from seeing her videos online before and stuff, and but granted, I also feel that romance in that book is one of the cringiest romances I've ever read.
One of the most realistic I've ever seen, that's for sure.
And then Ready Player 2, it was one of the worst romances I ever read.
One of the most realistic. Not a compliment.
Yeah, realistic bad.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything else from this book and this chapter you two want to go over?
Yeah. Grab my note.
I would love to see a scene. I really hope they're not just teasing me where the priest is trying to convince the logical woman of religious stuff. I think that would be so fun to watch be written by Brandon Sanderson specifically, since he seems to have both sides of that in him.
Did it say how old Jasnah is at all?
I don't know, but I can just look it up. It's not really a spoiler.
Okay.
I think in the earlier she was like she was like mid-30s. I think it said in an earlier chapter.
Okay. So like not close to their age or anything.
No, because she was like, I think she's like 34 or something like that, because Shallan before she thought that she was saying that she didn't expect Jasnah to be so beautiful because she thought, 30-something-year-old unmarried woman would be
She's
like
gonna be an old
spinster.
cat lady. Yeah.
Oh my god. 30's not that old, okay?
Yeah, but
30 and
typically,
unmarried.
30
I
in a
know for, like,
fantasy series is in a
Oh,
world
man.
that's more traditional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You may as well retire and
and
go to Elfland.
and a member of the royal family that's not married.
That
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, Jasnah's a bit older.
Let's see. I guess older than their 20 year or 17 years that they have.
At least you're not having the Serenity. I'm already 18. I'm an old maid.
Right.
Serenity was like 25.
Ah,
Oh,
yes, there you go.
25. Oh my gosh.
Ugh.
Well, Serenity's thing was also that everyone in her court, everyone there was kind of against her.
Yeah, you need new friends.
Yeah, that's why she went
made new
across the sea.
Yeah. and then lived happily ever after, as far as I'm aware.
I always felt like Serenity's wasn't really more like, oh, I'm too old. It was more like, just because everyone where she came from, nobody there wanted to marry her. It was just she had her whole self-doubts and insecurities.
First world problems.
Is it? Do you call medieval times first world? You know what? I'm not going to get into the semantics.
I have self-confidence issues.
So, Sheta, did you have anything else you want to bring up? Because you said you had notes.
Oh, yeah, I guess it's just a little bit more about my journey in how I feel about Shallan. So
That's what I wanted to hear about, so I'm glad. I was going to ask.
Well, she has more stuff later, right? So I'll just wait.
Do you want to just do it after her second chapter?
Yeah.
All right. So we'll just move on to that second chapter then. With chapter 8, Nearer the Flame. Epigraph. Victory. We stand atop the mount. We scatter them before us. Their homes become our dens. Their lands are now our farms. And they shall burn, as we once did, in a place that is hollow and forlorn. Subject was a light-eyed spinster of the 8th dawn.
So these are starting to get interesting to me. They're really making me wonder, is somebody actually going up and talking to these people, or is it some kind of like magical thing that's exploring humans? I'm really curious.
Ooh, I have a theory.
Yeah, I have one too, but I don't think it's true.
All right, so chapter, we're continuing right where we left off. Jasnah's not happy that Shallan is waiting in her alcove and tells her that she has wasted enough time on her and she doesn't want to see her again. Shallan apologizes and quickly leaves. After walking a little bit away, she leans against a wall and sinks down to the floor. Angry people unsettle Shallan, and it reminds her of her father in one of his tirades. And Shallan chides herself for thinking that she could do this. Then one of the servants comes up to Shallan and says that Jasnah wishes to speak with her. Shallan walks back with him, and Jasnah apologizes for treating Shallan with anger. Persistence is a trait she normally encouraged, and her only excuse is that she has put herself under a lot of stress lately. And Jasnah also gives Shallan back her spheres, which Shallan had forgotten there when she ran away. And Shallan also tells Jasnah about Cabsal wanting to speak with her. Shallan asks if Jasnah had read her letter, and Jasnah did not notice the letter since her books were stacked on top of it. So she grabs it and reads it. And she's impressed that Shallan was self-taught. And yeah, she says that context in a person's life is important. So she will allow Shallan to, learn more about history and philosophy, and then come back and petition her again at a later date, which is not something she's allowed any other aspiring ward to do. But Shallan knows that, if she does come back at a later date like that, her house will have fallen and her family possibly enslaved by then. And Shallan leaves, and she thinks that, if she did become a ward to Jasnah, then that would also allow Shallan to be able to marry well. And the sheer prestige of House Kaladin, that could be enough to save her house. She thinks about how her family could try to run, but there was nowhere in Yakaved to seek asylum, because her father had alienated all of their old allies. He had rarely spoken to his children about his plans, and after he died, they found a strange collection of maps in his studies. Her eldest brother, Lirin, had known more, but he had vanished over a year ago, and their father has proclaimed him dead. Thinking of her father makes Shallan feel ill, and she becomes overwhelmed by the weight of House Debar's situation, her part in it, and the secret she carried 10 heartbeats away. When Shallan leaves the building, she is surprised to see Yalb is waiting for her. She had expected him to have gone back to his ship hours ago, but he had found some guards that he gambled with. Shallan doesn't like him gambling because in the Vaden culture, seeing the future, it's almost like seeing the future, and that's not good. But Yalb says that's not gambling if you are going to win. He was cheating the guards, and it was kind of a game between them where they were trying to see if they could figure out how he was cheating. Shallan tells him that Jasnah had rejected her twice, and Yalb tells her that you always try for a third hand, because it wins most of the time. And Shallan tries to explain that's not how probability works, but he says that the passion, that will make you win when you need it the most.
I like that logic.
Shallan gets an idea and has Yalb lead her to where there are book merchants. She goes inside a shop, and the owner, at first he just tries to sell Shallan some romance novels he has there. Shallan tells him she doesn't want those and she needs some books on history and philosophy. She names off some of the names that Jasnah had brought up before. And the owner and her, they have a little back and forth, and he tries to persuade her against those books, but she argues with him. And eventually he goes and helps his wife with getting the books. And then the owner and his wife, they return with a book. They return with a few books. One of them's a book about the history of Roshar since the hierarchy. They also have a 4-volume set about the 5 Vorin kingdoms. But Shallan only knows of 4 Vorin kingdoms, which were Yakaved, Alethkar, Kharbranth, and Natan. And he also has 6 other books from those philosophers that Shallan had mentioned earlier. He offers to sell all these books for 10 emerald bromes. Shallan only has 8 emerald bromes, so she's going to take fewer books until Yalb comes in. He is pretending to be a worker from another book merchant that Shallan had visited, and he says that his master will sell the books at a fairer price, and that this guy's trying to cheat Shallan. By using Yalb's deception, Shallan's eventually able to barter the price down to 2 emerald and 3 sapphire. After they leave, Shallan thanks Yalb. He didn't know the price of a book, but he knew that the merchant would try to take Shallan for as much as she had. And Yalb, he had gone and he had asked around for a rival's name, and that's what he used.
Man, I wish I had a guy like this. I fucking hate I hate haggling so much. I'd love to have a guy come in and just pull a little cheat scam for me like this.
Yeah, conventions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, it's this much on Big Bad Toy Story.
Well, I specifically hate it with things like, she's going in to buy these books. She really doesn't know how much they're worth, Like, you just want to be able to trust somebody to give you a slightly jacked up but, rational price.
Yeah.
And like he says in a bit, merchants are like mercenaries, except they'll kill you while also pretending to be your friend, or stab you in the back while pretending to be your friend.
What I hated was when I used to work retail and people would try to haggle with me for prices.
Well, that's just stupid.
Yeah,
I wish I could do that at Target.
Yeah.
So I rang everything up. It's like, all right, your price is this much. How about we do this much? No, that's not how it works here. We're not a bazaar. I can't hang. Oh, it happened so many times. People try to haggle. It's like, I can't do that.
Like,
I'm gonna try it. Maybe next time I'm at Taco Bell, it'll work. Like, be honest, this taco's only worth this much. You're right, sir. Here's your change back.
That's very strange.
Yeah, so Yalb, Shallan, she gives Yalb her drawing that she had drawn of him earlier as thanks. As he's looking at the drawing, she takes another memory of him because she wanted to have him in her collection.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of creepy, right?
What? That's the part where memory was... Well, okay, 2 things. 1, that's the part where memory was capitalized that I really noticed, Sheta. The second part is that creepy? Is that not just like, wanting to remember somebody that you liked or had a positive experience with?
I like doing that. Like, just by remembering them, not being like, okay, I'll draw a picture of them later and then I'll keep them. Then they'll be mine. Like,
what about when like a writer is inspired to make a character like a person they met? Like how... I think Samwise is inspired by somebody Tolkien met in the war. That's not creepy, right?
I think there's a way of saying it and doing it that is less creepy. That's kind of nice. You honor the memory of a friend by making a character, but you're like, I don't know. It's
Is
the
it
like
just the wording of take a memory so she could bring him home with her, basically?
yeah, and also like she drew him
Or to her
already,
collection, like
but she's
she's a
like
serial killer?
yeah, she drew him already, but she gave him the picture. She's like, okay, now I gotta take another memory so that I can do another picture later. Like it's just all creepy. Like you already drew him. I thought you just, but she needs that physical picture of him to have her. So I can't wait to go back to her room and she just has her walls papered with all the people that she likes in her life. You know, like it. I'm sure it's not that creepy, but it just sounds creepy to me.
No, it's the only thing that that just makes me think of was, yep, she wants to add it to her collection. It just makes me think General Grievous. I need to add this to my collection. I'm taking the
Yeah,
lightsabers.
collections are creepy.
Collections are not creepy. What are you talking about?
Are
You've got a
weirdos who
million
have
collections.
Yeah, that's right. They're weird. When you see too much of a collection, you're like, all right, there's a line between like this is a problem and this is just a hobby. Like,
And where's yours at?
I'm not gonna
For your-
say.
For your Little Mermaid collection.
I'm not gonna say, but it is kind of creepy.
Yeah, you're saying this as I'm looking at all my anime figures that I have in my room.
Mhm.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I don't even want to say what I'm looking at.
I just think of a normie person coming into my room and being like, wow, that's nice. And then like turning around and leaving.
Slowly back away.
Yeah. You need a kindred spirit to appreciate a
Mhm.
collection. But yeah, to an outsider, good luck. Like,
Just so you know, I'm on record. I think that Shallan's little collection is nice and not weird.
that's nice.
Yeah, I found it somewhat wholesome, personally.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Especially when you hear about, like, earlier, where she was talking about how her father would get angry at her and stuff, so she would have to do these pictures later in secret.
Yeah, it almost sounds like a childhood trauma thing.
Yeah,
like,
like,
trying
oh,
to-
I accidentally killed the neighbor's dog and now I have to keep it a secret. Like,
Jesus. What the fuck?
my little experiments had to be in secret. Like, sorry, I'm painting a whole thing, but I might just be revealing too much. So
What, so are you saying that Shallan secretly killed something?
no, but she wasn't allowed to do this, and then she did it all in secret.
Also, it's going to reveal that capturing their memories is literally stealing their souls. And when she crosses
something
over,
like
she'll
that.
own all
Oh
those
my
souls.
god, yeah, that would be creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Her dad might have said, "Stop that" for a purpose, you know.
Yeah, he was like, stop that. You're eating their souls.
Yeah.
Damn, we just did a huge spoiler.
Yeah, because she's what she can do is not normal. So we'll see. Yeah.
Burn her! She's a witch! That's what I'm hearing, Sheta.
Yeah. It's not natural.
Yeah, they'll say that about Shallan for drawing people, not Jasnah for turning a giant stone into smoke.
Well, that's all in the open. It's the secret stuff you gotta worry about.
Shallan heads back to the Palanaeum, and she gets an alcove that's nearby Jasnah's. And Shallan, her plan right now is to just study as much as she can, and then try to get Jasnah to take her on as a ward right before Jasnah leaves Kharbranth.
When she's like, oh, I've got this one last plan, and it's just, I'm going to study really fast. I was like, oh man, she's a lot more like naive and innocent than I expected, I think.
I thought that was badass.
It is badass, but the way she was saying it, I was like, okay, what kind of like boss baller move does she have? Risking it all, because she was like, man, they may kick me out for doing this plan, and it's just studying a lot.
Nerd plan.
Yeah, I was like, I felt that said quite a bit about her life.
I use my super skill of being a nerd to win.
I can remember things really well. I'll just do that.
And as Shallan's studying, Jasnah arrives over at her alcove and says, I'm never going to be rid of you, am I? Jasnah notes that she should have put a timetable on Shallan's next application. And she says that she knows why Shallan is so desperate. She had studied Shallan, and she knows that Shallan's house has many enemies, so it will be difficult for Shallan to be able to marry well. Jasnah asks to see Shallan's satchel, and she takes it, she looks through it, and she looks at Shallan's drawings. And she does linger on the drawing of Jasnah. Then she tells Shallan to bring her things to Jasnah's room. She says that Shallan is an opportunist, hoping to use Jasnah's name for greater wealth, but she's also a person that seeks scholarship in her free time for her own sake. And that is the best argument Shallan could have made. So Shallan will now divide her time studying and also helping Jasnah with her studies. And Shallan's glad about this. The first step is complete, and now the real task begins.
She's lucky. It's like, a fellow nerd, I see. All right, you can join me.
I do think it's, just the things she says when she expected that she was going to leave the money there as an excuse to come back, and other little things like that make me think that she was doing what we were kind of talking about last time, where she was like, if you just give up and leave, like this is all test after test to test your character, and when she keeps being so committed to this and desperate for it, that is kind of what she expected and would hope for out of somebody. So I think it's funny that she was just going to leave until the guy was like, don't leave, because then, it would have proven to her that she wasn't as committed as she needs to be to do this stuff.
All right, Sheta, so we finished the 2 Shallan chapters. So what was your big take that you're going to do with Shallan then?
Don't hype it up. So I said that Shallan might be my most hated, female character that Brandon Sanderson has ever written. But the more, so I really studied these 2 chapters, and I was like, okay, I actually really like this character and all that she's trying to do. It's only her dialogue with other characters that I just hate. So I really
thought of you while she was talking to the merchant.
Yeah, I actually relate to her a lot, probably more than any other character and I guess I just cringe for her. I'm like, I wonder what kind of stuff she cringes at night when she's like, oh, I can't believe I said that, for all her dialogue and stuff like that. But I really think it's just that I feel like other characters almost set her up to say some of the cringy lines that she says, and I don't like that. But otherwise, I really like her character so far, and I really relate to a lot of stuff that she's going through. So
she won you over?
Yeah, so she won me over with not talking to other people.
All right, anything else from this chapter either you two want to go over?
No, just excited to see more, to see where this goes next, and to see more of her, if she succeeds or not.
All right, so we'll go on to the next chapter. And this one, before the chapter, there was some more artwork. This one was artwork of chulls that we've been hearing about. And pretty much chulls are giant hermit crabs.
Which, with the eels, I wonder if this world being kind of a deserty area, I think it was an underwater area. Because we've seen
that's interesting.
Eels,
and with the unnatural storms, that was the water that's supposed to be there. Is that it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like that. That's cool.
Very interesting that it's specifically, water creatures.
Yeah, that's a good one. I didn't think of that. I totally believe that now. I'm 100% on board. That's I think one of the first of your theories that I just have no questions for. I'm just like, yep, that's it. That's true.
Yes.
All right. So, Chapter 9, Damnation. Epigraph. 10 people, with shard blades alight, stand before a wall of black and white and red. Subject, one of our own ardents, overheard during his last moments.
So they're ardents.
Well, it could be an ardent, or it's only been mentioned briefly in the past, but technically ardents are considered slaves.
Really? Wow.
It's like people, they become ardents, and they're not allowed to own any property or stuff like that, and they're considered slaves.
I remember that.
You know what? I always did think that about priests and nuns, so...
Well, they serve God. They don't serve the mortal coil, I think is the idea, right? So they don't need possessions.
Yeah, but in this world where there are slaves and servants and things.
Unlike our world?
Question mark? Just kidding.
I mean, there were slaves and servants there were priests still back in the day, if you're
Yeah, I guess.
Well,
I mean, there's a lot of different kinds of slaves here in this world.
They have
priests
a very A complex caste system, you're saying, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of levels, like master servants, literal slaves, and I think like even some of the soldiers and things, like they're all like different levels of being owned and stuff.
All right. So we go back to Kaladin. And Kaladin's sitting in the rain outside the barracks of Bridge 4. Bridge 4 has the highest casualty rate of all the bridges, and that's why Kaladin was sent to it. It's been a few weeks since he joined the bridge crew, and out of the 25 men who survived that first bridge run, only 2 of them are still alive. Kaladin and one other.
Oh my god. I thought that was... I'm sorry, Kaladin. I thought that was the funniest shit I'd ever read. 2. Jesus Christ, man.
That's only the 25 that survived that run. Because that first run had 40 total, so only 2 out of 40 people in that first run are still alive.
Mm-hmm. Of all the numbers I thought I was going to hear, 2 was not one of them.
Yep, and the members, they have been replenished since then with new slaves or criminals, or sometimes even soldiers that commit bad crimes are sent to the bridge crews. But the new people, they come, and they die just the same. Kaladin has not learned the names of any of those crew members because he just doesn't see the point of it. And some of their runs are not as bad as others. If they arrive before the Parshendi arrive at the plateau, then nobody dies because they're not being shot at. If they arrive late and they see that a different High Prince has already arrived, then Sadeas just leaves and doesn't fight, and nobody dies. And Kaladin also does not know why they are fighting on these plateaus.
That's my favorite part. You don't even know what this battle is for. It's just nothing for you.
Oh god.
He thinks it has something to do with these large chrysalises that are on the plateaus, and apparently inside of them there are gemstones. But Kaladin does not know what this has to do with the Vengeance Pact. The whole strategy just does not make sense to Kaladin.
I'm hoping that this is just war for sport, and there's just no point to it.
Oh my god, it's just like golfing or something, and they're like, okay, we're gonna get you guys, now you guys try to get us. Like,
he kind of implies it when he's like, they just seem to go out and fight, then go back and party, and that's it,
Oh my god.
So I think there's an element of that. I mean, not actually, because these 2 peoples are at war,
Oh, just my theory about how these old like storm knights kind of just went in amongst the people, and they're doing this for fun because they're so old and so bored. They're just like, I miss the good old glory days of war. And
the reason I wouldn't think that is because we know that this is a worse army to be in than other ones,
Yeah, because they're
so
just...
this is how you think that the guy in charge is one of those? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. And all Brandon Sanderson stuff, like the gods all have different personalities, so maybe they have like a real sadistic asshole guy as their person, and then maybe other armies have a more reasonable guy.
To me, I don't even think there's sadism to it. I think it's just apathy for the lower slave caste.
When you
or whatever.
live that long, what do you care about a blip of a life?
Yeah, exactly. But even for if you don't live that long, just imagine how pissed you'd be to get up and learn that this war that he wanted to reach for glory when he was back in the day is nothing. That would be so infuriating.
I think that's the best lesson to learn for someone like Kaladin.
Yeah.
And that, you're a really special person, and you have a lot of skills and ambitions. You don't need to be doing this. You deserve better.
Yep, and Kaladin, he had even asked, why don't we put a few bridgemen in front of the bridges with shields? But he was told that, no, that will slow them down too much. When he brings it up again, he's told, yeah, if you keep bringing this up, you'll get whipped.
The whole point is killing you guys. Don't you get it?
That was the other thing I was wondering. This is a whole blood sacrifice thing. The war doesn't even matter. They just need a certain number of people killed on this land every month.
That's how we score our points. What are you talking about?
Not that. Like a magical ritual to keep something sealed with blood.
Oh, you need nice.
This many people killed every month, so they just come up with some pointless war and just run enough people through the meat grinder while being able to keep the war going. If that's not it, I might have to write that book because I think that'd be funny. Because then it would mean you were dying for nothing. But at the same time, you actually weren't. It was just kind of simplified for what war is for, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of like that Star Trek episode where they eliminate all war by having a random lottery of people on each side who will die every day.
Yeah. See?
Oh god,
That's how we got rid of war.
Yeah, that one was
I
great.
remember that episode.
That one was great. I love that one.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it was a random lottery. I think it was like virtual war. It's like, sorry, you have to die. This computer said a bomb went off here, so now we have to kill you.
Yep. And I remember one of our characters had it happen, and that's why they had to fight it. Because they were like, what? We were just visiting.
I really like someone like Kaladin being put into this war and him being like, wait a minute, can't we have some shields so that we won't die? You know, like, if you were like, no, like, what are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense. Like, shut up.
I also like to think that it's just that the whole thing is run by a moron who has no idea what he's doing. I think that's just as likely too. Like a Zap Brannigan type running this whole thing.
I don't know. I feel like it's more cruel
Insidious?
than that. Yeah,
Yeah?
insidious. I don't think it's.
I think that it's not, because this is so cruel and pointless and meaningless that it just has to be just from incompetence, you know? They always say that maxim, never attribute to malice what you can attribute to incompetence or stupidity.
Yeah, but what kind of stupidity? Oh, maybe it's actually I would say it's neglect. Like they don't care. Like they want to party and they want to just
yeah, and they
enjoy
got
the
enough
glory.
bridge people coming through. Clearly, they're
Yeah,
able to
it's not a
replenish this all
problem.
the time.
It's not a.
And then the other thing is, you know, think about even just a regular job. Anytime somebody's like, hey, maybe this could be more efficient, and nobody even listens because they're just like, no, we do things this way. It's the right way to do things, because they don't care, because their work isn't much more. It's your work that could be lessened, you know?
Yeah.
So that on the scale of war, I think that's kind of what I'm thinking here.
Oh, that kind of stuff always bothers me so much.
Yes, it's infuriating.
Like, it's inefficient. Just change it.
I think anyone in an office job would agree with you.
Yeah. It's like, why has this thing been sitting here for 20 years? Like, nobody cares.
Just the fact that Office Space came out in 1999 and it is still 100% accurate to today's workforce.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah, when I first saw that movie, I was like in high school or junior high or something. It's like, it's kind of funny. Once I got older and was working, it's like, oh my god, I resonate so much with this stupid movie.
So it's like Idiocracy, where if you don't know the world, it seems like a comedy, but if you know the world, you realize it's a horror story.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, and then the bridgemen, they aren't able to run away from the camp either. They're allowed to walk around the war camps however much they want, you know, and they're able to go to the merchants, buy stuff with their wages they get, but the perimeters are heavily guarded. But one area they can also walk to, they can walk out and head to the chasms in order to end it all. It's the one thing that they're allowed to do.
They can do that. That just shows how many of these people they have running through, that they don't even crack down on that, of all things.
That's kind of a kindness in some aspects.
I don't know about that.
You know, the thing like, oh, you're gonna wish you were dead after our torture, you know, like, you know.
More like you don't want suicidal bridge crews running this, because they won't they won't move as fast, you know? So you just let them kill themselves.
Too much.
I don't remember if it was this chapter or the next one. I remember he's saying that they're told, like, yeah, if you're able to survive 100 bridge runs, then you go free. And that one or two people have done it. Kaladin's like, I don't think anyone's done it. They just tell them that to give people hope.
Yeah.
Why does that sound like the worst, like, Black Friday deal ever? Like, just 100 black bread runs and you can go free.
Is that all? With the casualty rate of like 80% on this bridge?
Yeah.
All right, then. Syl seems worried about Kaladin, and he tells her that his father had said there are two kinds of people in the world. Those who take lives and those who save lives. And Kaladin had thought there was a third kind, those who take lives in order to save them. But he says that now he knows that that the third kind is actually different. Those who exist only to be saved or killed. And he says that they exist to be killed.
Man, this got so goddamn nihilistic. I really liked following his journey from optimistic guy to, guy who felt like he'd given up hope to guy who's actually seeing what it's like to give up hope for real. I thought that was very funny to watch. Like, you thought you knew what true despair, nihilism, and hopelessness was, but you haven't even seen, like, the you're not even halfway there,
Yeah,
I just thought it made sense. So.
Thought what made sense?
His thing made sense. Like,
oh yeah,
he always thought himself either a hero or like a doctor's son who could, save. Like, those are his occupations. Like, I want to be a hero who saves lives and a doctor, but he never thought he would end up as a victim. Which is actually something, or says a lot about people. Like, they want to be the real characters in the story. They don't ever think they're going to be the part of the masses and stuff.
That's true. Yeah. The because main characters a lot of the time in real life too, people who see themselves that way tend to think like, you're either a bad guy or you're a good guy. You do things, but they don't think about the people who are in just abject slavery with, like, they can either be killed or they can do the thing they're told to do. They really have no options, right? That's kind of what you're saying. Is that correct?
Yeah, like, those are the people we don't think about as people, but they're the same as you,
They'd probably be the majority of people in a world like a feudal world like this, where they don't have a lot of choice in their station or what they get to do, right?
Like, I think we as people forget about those people a lot, thinking that, we're such main characters and stuff,
Well, we also don't live in like a feudal system where your station is set from birth, So I think it's interesting to have somebody who, like, he wasn't a noble or anything, but he wasn't born a slave, Yeah.
I think this is him trying to open our eyes to how we are blinded by our upbringing, I guess, and our place in life to real things like that.
Yeah.
And Syl says that she hates seeing Kaladin like this. And in his mind, he is trying to figure out what is going on with the Bridgemen and the plateau battles. He feels like he is missing something, but he also tells himself that he's no longer that person who cares about that. Syl tells Kaladin that he used to be so vibrant and people looked up to him. She says that she used to watch him fight, but her memories of that time are still hazy. Kaladin finds that odd, because Syl hadn't started following him until after he had become a slave. And he thinks about how, during bridge runs, if you go slow, then you get executed. Other crimes you may do may result in you being whipped, or for a really bad crime, you get strung up outside in order to face a high storm, and they call that, the Stormfather's judgment. Only going slow on a bridge run results in immediate death by beheading. Gaz is given more crews for the bridge crews. Kaladin sees a young man that reminds him of Tien, and he wants to protect him. But he thinks that Tien is dead and everyone he has tried to protect is dead. And Syl tells Kaladin that she's going to leave, and Kaladin asks her not to. But she says that she will try to come back. She doesn't know what will happen, but a part of her thinks that she will lose herself if she leaves, but she has to. She can't watch this anymore. The young man that reminded Kaladin of Tien died on the next bridge run. After the run, Kaladin goes to his body and holds it. It reminds him of lying in a similar place holding a similar corpse. And he also sees the body of that other survivor from his very first bridge run.
That was the saddest part in the whole thing.
Wait, what? Is this the nice guy?
No, just he said there were 2 survivors from the before,
Oh, okay.
And now he just saw that guy died too. It's just so fucking meaningless and hopeless. Funny. It's hilarious. It's super funny because it's just so horrible. He's already, like I said, he's already kind of like the way he thinks in the previous chapter, even while doing the bridge one, to now, he says later he's just a thing. He's not even a person anymore. And you think that's the bottom, and yet it gets worse, You're just like this little vestige of hey, at least there was more of us. No, it's just me. Why am I not dead
That
yet?
one
I'll
guy's
be dead.
alive.
Like this is so pointless. Everyone I see dies. Why am I not dead? Like it's yeah. I've seen things that really try to cross the like I don't know despair event horizon, but this is one of the most blunt ones and done so fast. You're just like. You're in his head, you're like, yeah, jump. Fuck this. This is terrible. Why are you here? You don't want to watch another person die, Like, it's just funny.
And it's someone you didn't even want to get attached to.
Yeah, you didn't even really know the guy. It doesn't matter. It's just you were aware of him because he was
you
the
were
other guy who was there.
The last piece of your brain was like, there's one more guy left, who was with
yeah.
you.
Yeah, that's it. He's not choosing to have any hope or notice things or care, but little parts in your brain still think like a human until those are squashed out too,
Yeah, you're like, oh.
I thought this was all done very, very well for that reason.
Yeah.
That night, Kaladin thinks that he can't keep going on like this, and he cries for the first time in a year.
Oh.
And that's the end of the chapter.
The end of chapter. That's what's so funny. It's like I only see this level of like crappiness in like a black comedy, where it's just like really trying to hammer in how sad and pathetic a character's life is, like in like The Simpsons or Futurama or something when they have like a sad orphan they're always shitting on as a joke kind of thing,
Yeah, you just want to make it the cartooniest, saddest, most pathetic thing ever.
Yeah.
Frank Grimes in The Simpsons.
Yeah. It's just such a cartoonishly sad life.
Or Cricket
anything else from
and Always Sunny.
Yeah, Cricket's a good one too. Yeah. Just so far, this was my favorite chapter. I didn't expect things to go this way. I thought that it would be like, oh man, this sucks. I gotta do something about it. Like Raoden's kind of philosophy,
Yeah, we all can't be Raoden.
I really want to see Raoden working Bridge 4. I'm very curious how that would go.
He's gonna be like, all right, men, let's pip up and let's clean this bridge and make it the bridge.
What happens then? They all die.
All right, let's just pick up again and try harder next time. A positive attitude is what will get us through.
Well, interestingly, this has similar themes later, which I'll say, but yeah.
I would hope that taking those Elantrians in Elantris before it comes back where they can't die and have them run the bridges.
Yeah,
have them run Bridge 4. That's a good use of resources.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
That's awful.
Then you just toss them in the gorge when they can't work anymore, but they'll be able to do a few more missions. It'll be good.
Oh, I just have a couple arrows in me, but I can still run.
That's true. It's just arrows. It's not going to be as debilitating as some of the things they get. They'll be able to last a bit.
Oh.
Feeling the pain of an arrow in your lung forever.
Yeah. We're going to run out of Elantrians. I think that's what we're saying here.
Ones that can walk, yeah.
Yeah, people are cheaper. Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, people who don't have an arrow in their lung. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, let's just move on to the next chapter, chapter 10. And this is where we see another thing that's unique to this that wasn't in the other books. We're going to get flashback chapters, similar to like an episode of Lost or an episode of Arrow.
You sure this was a flashback? I thought that we were just sneaking in another prologue quick.
This is the prologue book.
Actually, this was all a prologue to the past, where the real story is.
Oh.
Yeah, so chapter 10, Stories of Surgeons. 9 years ago. Kaladin arrives in his father's surgery room, and Kaladin prefers to go by the name Cal because it is shorter, and Kaladin makes him sound like a Light Eyes. Cal's father, Lirin, has a globe that's filled with diamond bromes to use for light as he operates on a 15-year-old named Sani, whose hand has been crushed. The diamond bromes are on permanent loan from Hearthstone's landlord in order to use as light in the surgery room, operating room. Lirin makes Cal wash his hands in order to keep the death and rot spraying away. Cal says that it's silly, and Lirin says that it is wisdom from the heralds.
That was my favorite part. because we know why, washing your hands will keep rot away. I think it's really fascinating that they've got wisdom from the heralds, like these ancient wisdom customs. They say a little later too, washing the tools with alcohol as is custom, but they don't really understand the science behind it. I found that so interesting.
Again, magic is just science.
Well, yeah, but they're not talking about magic, at least. They're just talking about ancient customs,
Oh, but the death sprints are basically bacteria, which is how I always thought of bacteria.
Or they bacteria, or do they show up when bacteria rots things? That would be the question.
Well, that's rot spren. He says that no one's ever seen death spren and has lived.
Interesting. So yeah, Sheta, do you think that the rot spren cause rot, or do you think that they show up when the natural process of rot happens?
In this world, it seems like things show up when stuff's happening. So
yeah.
Do
they, or does creativity come from creative spren? I don't know.
Ew, creative germs.
Yeah, I'm curious to find out what's up with these friggin' spren. I'm saying I would hate this world. I don't want fucking spren everywhere, but
what? For me, they're just fairies.
I don't want fairies everywhere.
It kind of feels like the Japanese, like everything has a spirit kind of thing. Where they,
yeah, I can see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Arian. Cal says that he had heard from an ardent that the heralds were demons, but Lirin says that he was talking about the Radiants. The heralds were sent to teach mankind and lead them against the Voidbringers after they were cast out from heaven. The Radiants were the orders of knights that the heralds founded. After the heralds left, the Radiants betrayed mankind. The Radiants were just men who had too much power. Cal thinks about how the others in town thought that Lirin spent too much time with books and sick people, and it made him strange. Cal watches as his father works on Sanny's hand. Cal has been Lirin's assistant for 2 years. Looking at her hand, he sees that her middle finger is just too badly damaged and says that it will need to be amputated. Lirin smiles since Cal was able to notice this. Training to become a surgeon takes over 10 years, so Lirin's the one that cuts off the finger. Lirin's pleased that he was able to save 4 of her fingers, but Cal knows that her parents will only see it as Lirin being unable to save the 5th finger. It's always like this in town, and Lirin says it's because they have gotten used to having a surgeon around. And Lirin does not take payment from them, but the townfolk, they do donate food, so that way Cal and his parents and younger brother Tien will be able to eat. And Lirin tells Cal he will need to work on his nerves. It is good to care, but caring can be a problem if it interferes with his ability to perform surgery. And Cal thinks about how it is a problem that Lirin never charges for his work. And Lirin asks Cal where he was and why he showed up later, and Cal says that he and Tien were with Jam. Jam's father is currently training him in the quarterstaff, so they were seeing what Jam has learned. Jam's father was in Bright Lord Amaram's army. Cal thinks about how he wanted to see a real Light Eyes, not someone stuffy like old Wistia. Lirin talks down about soldiers, and Cal says they need soldiers because their borders are violated by the Thalans. But Lirin explains that Thalanar is an island nation, so they don't share a border, and also that Thalans are tradesmen and merchants. But Cal says that they do need to fight with someone, and Lirin says that, King Gavilar always finds someone to fight.
It's interesting to me that a lot of what his father's philosophies seem to be things that he is kind of coming to and thinking about while on the battlefield himself. I find that very interesting. I mean, that's somewhat blatant here, but I still find it interesting.
Lirin asks why Cal would want to learn how to hit people with sticks, and Cal says it is for honor, and nobody tells stories of surgeons, but Lirin says that the people that they save do. And then he tells Cal there are 2 kinds of people, those who take lives and those who save lives. And Cal asks about those who protect and defend, those who save lives by taking them. Lirin says that is ridiculous, and you cannot protect by killing. And then Lirin quizzes Cal on treatments and diagnosing diseases. He tells Cal that he has a good mind, and he is going to send Cal to Kharbranth to train with real surgeons when he turns 16. And Cal is excited to go. More so because that way he can see the world. And Lirin tells Cal not to dream the small dreams of other men. Don't waste himself on killing. Cal hesitates, but nods. And that's the end of the chapter.
What is his dad saying? That he knew exactly where life was going to go if you follow that path?
I think if we use the math, He says that he's going to send Kaladin to Kharbranth to train with surgeons when Kaladin turns 16. But we know from the first chapter that Kaladin's currently 19, and he joined Amaram's army 4 years earlier. Anything else from this chapter you two want to go over?
No.
All right. We'll go to our last chapter for today. Chapter 11, Droplets. Epigraph. 3 of 16 ruled, but now the broken one reigns. Subject. A cut purse with the wasting sickness. Of partial Iriali descent.
Was it 16 guys at the beginning of those
10
guys?
There are 10
it was
heroes.
10. Okay. Never mind.
All right. So we're back to the present. And a high storm subsides and Kaladin walks out into the heavy rain. It's later in that same day that Syl left and that boy died during the bridge run. As Kaladin is walking in the rain, Gaz sees him and calls out to him. Gaz is out collecting his spheres, which he had left out in order to infuse them with Stormlight. So pretty much, when a high storm's coming, you leave your spheres out and they get charged up with Stormlight. Gaz asks where Kaladin's going, and Kaladin says that he's going to the Honor Chasm. Gaz doesn't object, but he does tell Kaladin to leave his vest and sandals, so that way they don't need to try to retrieve them later.
It is interesting to me that Gani says that. He's given him so much shit, he's just like, I see. Like, there is a certain, like, how did you say it a second ago, Sheta? I don't remember, but there is, like, a certain respect for people who do that. Like, I understand, you know? That was really
I
weird.
didn't read it like that. I thought it was
Oh,
mean.
really? You thought
I thought
so?
it was like, all right, at least leave your shoes and your shirt for someone else to use. Like, it was very, like, uncaring.
Uncaring,
and
yes.
hateful.
I agree.
Yeah, and, like, I guess what you could say is that he wanted him to die, so at least he didn't rub it in. Like, yeah, haha, you're a loser. Go die. You know, like, that's at least a little bit, like, him not saying, you know, at least he's not rubbing it in.
I God knows how many men die going through this thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think might be a more layered character than you expect, and the hate that our guy has for him. I
Those
think
kinda
that
characters always
some of
are,
it,
yeah.
like, who knows what kind of shit this guy's had. I mean, just imagine leading this many men into pointless death every single day, you know? Like, oh man.
Well, one thing to remember is Gaz, he was told to give Kaladin special treatment.
Yeah, I said that.
Yeah,
Did I cut
but
out when I
who
said
was
that?
overseeing that? Like,
It was somebody in charge.
yeah, at this point, who is
Person who
overseeing
brought him
him
over
and
to
who
him.
cares?
Yeah.
It was
yeah.
the woman Hishal, and she says to tell Lamaril and Gaz that Kaladin's to get special treatment.
Yeah, that's one of the main reasons that I think that a lot of the hate that Kaladin has for him is misplaced. I don't think he's a good guy, but
I don't think Kaladin even cares about Gaz. He's like, oh, another one of you. Like, I don't think he even considers them that much.
yeah.
All right. So when Kaladin gets to the chasm, he looks out at the shattered plains. He feels like they aren't natural, and that they were broken, just like how they break people. He whispers to his father that he was right, and you cannot save people by killing. He thinks about how his life had been so simple before he'd lost his brother and he'd been betrayed in Amaram's army. Kaladin puts one foot out and is about to step off when Syl shouts his name. He stops and he sees her flying towards him while struggling to carry a leaf. She hands the blackbane leaf to him, and he asks why she gave him this. She says that he had kept the leaves so carefully and then had lost them. Everything went so wrong when he lost them, but before that he used to fight. Kaladin says that he failed, and Syl says that she flew so far and almost forgot herself, but she still came back. Syl tells him that she used to watch him in the army. He always protected the young, untrained boys. He says he failed, and she tells him that they would have died sooner if not for him. It's what drew her to him. She tells him he can help the men in the bridge crew. Kaladin says that it's too late and they are already dead, and Syl says then what could it hurt? He can't fail because he says they're already dead anyways. She pleads with him to try. Kaladin feels determination within himself.
Can't argue with that.
What?
I think I came in way later than when I actually talked, so...
Yeah, you did.
All I heard was, logic, can't argue with that.
Sounds good to me.
Kaladin feels determination within himself and he crushes the leaf and drops it into the chasm. He walks back to the camp, and Gaz prods at him and calls him a coward. And so Kaladin grabs Gaz by the throat, and he kicks his leg out from under him. Kaladin says that he died back in that chasm, and now Gaz has a vengeful spirit to deal with. He tells him that Bridge 4 is his now, and he is the new bridge leader. He also tells Gaz that he wants to be paid his wages instead of it going towards a slave debt. And he will give Gaz 1 diamond mark for every 5 that he gets in order to keep Gaz out of his way. And Kaladin also thinks that doing this will also keep Gaz from trying to get him killed, because if Kaladin dies, then that means that Gaz will stop getting Kaladin's money. Kaladin heads back inside the barracks and looks at the men and thinks if he was that pathetic as well. Kaladin goes over and sits next to an older man and asks that man his name. The man tries to get Kaladin to go away, but Kaladin pesters him until the man tells him that his name is Teft. And Kaladin knows that he has been on the crew for a few weeks and he used to be on a different one before that. And then Kaladin starts going around to every single person in their barracks, and he prods them until they tell him their names. Because their names mattered. They mattered. Syl watches on and looks bright and happy. Kaladin didn't feel that himself, but he did feel responsibility. He will find a way to protect these men. And that's the end of part 1.
I like the blatant bludging it across the face metaphor of him tossing the poison into the canyon because he doesn't believe in that killing thing anymore.
Yeah, that's true. You know what? It's lame to kill yourself.
I meant to kill others because he was going to use that to poison the guy before, but yeah, both ways too. Yeah, you could see him killing the concept of giving up at the same time. If you want to go deeper on the metaphor,
yeah.
I like
there
that.
You go.
Actually.
There's the artsy version. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else about this chapter either of you two want to go over?
I expect Gaz is going to be a beloved character by the end of this. Once we learn his curious flashback past.
I was just like you. Syl was actually my spring.
Oh God, no, not that.
All right. We'll go over to our theories and predictions segment. So,
all right. You have a question?
All right. So Shallan is Jasnah's ward now. So the question will be just 2 parts. Will Shallan be able to steal the Soulcaster? And if she does, will Jasnah find out?
She will not be able to steal it, and she'll find out.
Yeah, for some reason I thought it would be like her cartoonily swapping the pieces, and then Jasnah be like, "What do you? So you decided to steal from me?" like just like how she failed to do all of your other plans. Well, no is my answer.
All right, and then will Kaladin be able to save the bridge crew, or will they die as well?
It would be kind of funny in a really dark way if he makes friends with all his bridge crew, like knows all their names and family members, and then they all die, and then he has to be put through another gauntlet of like suffering.
Oh God.
Like good old Bill, he was killed as well. Him with his new wife and child and all. Like
you think they built him up just to make killing them even worse and make him even more full of despair? Like just
it's because
after 3 years of trying to do this, he becomes Gaz basically, right?
He won't, but he'll just be tested again because we've seen this one where you're like, oh, you've been put through the ringer, man up and try again. And then like after that, you usually just succeed in these things. But like, let's do another one. Like after that, you don't succeed. It's even worse. Now you know them and they're all dead, like he's going to have to step up even more than that and like take over all of the army or the bridge and stuff like that, and figure out what the heck's going on that you're killing all these people for, All
right, and Justin?
All right. Do I think he'll be able to? Yes, I think he'll be able to save all of them by just having a little efficiency and cleverness. And then the other bridge crews will start to take notice and start copying what he's doing until he becomes leader of this whole thing. I mean, the bar's not high for strategy, so.
All right. And then I think one other question I'll ask is, how are things going to go with Shallan and Cabsal?
Ooh, very nerdy.
Platonically.
No
That's
way.
my answer.
I think they're gonna have some sexy library meetups and stuff. I don't know if they're ardents or like priests or monks where they're allowed to have sex and marry or anything, but if they are, then I think they would pursue. But if they're not, if they pursued anyway, that would be fine with me.
So your official stance is that Shallan and Cabsal are gonna have sex.
Yes. And they're gonna do it in one of those
They're
study pods.
they're just gonna do it. That's your theory.
They're gonna do it.
So, how do you think things are gonna go between these two characters? They're gonna fucking bone in the library. It's gonna be smoking hot, man.
Well, the way they freaking flirted in that last one, I think that they would.
Yeah.
They're gonna awkwardly have sex in those study pods.
All right. If you two have any other theories, feel free to throw them out.
Okay. I'm really curious about what Syl's origin is, and I think it's kind of hinting at how these spren show up when stuff is happening, like when a person is doing stuff. So I think her kind of spren is a very unique, special spren where you kind of maybe it's a hero spren or something where like
Hero
when
spren.
you
That's interesting.
yeah, when you're like doing something really good and heroic and stuff, like she's born and she becomes alive and follows you and stuff, you know. So I think that a unique spren like that pop up when you are being like extra special or extra main character-y. So that's one of my
She has been called a wind spren this entire time.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
So?
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
What the hell do you... I barely know what a fucking spren is. Why should I trust that?
I think that is just what Kaladin is saying, but I think I don't think that's it. I thought maybe a hero spren or his fighting spirit. That's what I think. Like,
I think that her nature is going to be tied to what sprens actually are, personally, which we don't know yet.
Yeah, which I think is like the residue of human spirit.
You think so? What about the rot spren?
You don't think there's rotten people? Like,
no, I mean the literal rot of organic matter.
No, like I said, I think it's more like the Japanese spirits, like, you know, like where every aspect of life has a spirit in it, you know, like. So that's my other theory, is that these epigraphs recording people's deaths is recorded from captured death sprens who pop up when people die.
That's interesting, Sheta. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that one a lot, because it seems weird to me that they would... these last words, at first they were ones that are like, I'm dying, here are my last words, you know? So I could imagine like a plague doctor sitting there recording it. But some of them just sounds like a thing a guy said, you know? Or like a situation where a guy did not know he was about to die. Those are the ones that are surprising to me to hear.
If they even said it, I feel like these are just their thoughts, you know? So I think a spren would be able to capture the feeling and the thoughts of someone dying more than someone dramatically saying out loud before they die, you know? Like,
you know, I think that it is going to be their words just because I think that's cooler.
I mean, it
that's
sounds
all I got
like
as
it
reasoning.
from the words, like it does sound like something someone would say more than just think. But it could be more than that too.
Yeah, I agree.
And then my last thing is, I think one of the characters had yellow and black hair, which is like yellow with or black with some yellow spots. And I was like, these characters have anime hair, like I keep saying Japanese like spirits and stuff, but I also think that the colored hair and all these different random colors of hair is very anime.
So you think this is just like an anime
most
world?
Anime book series.
Sheta was talking about anime and stuff like that. You know, fun little thing is the characters in this series, you know, with their eyes, they all have the epicanthic folds.
So they're Asian, you're saying, Joe?
Oh, they're definitely
Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Oh, what? So they do not have that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so most of them will look like they're
so what you're saying
so it is
Is there not anime characters? Because they almost always have eye folds when you see them more well rendered. That's what I'm hearing.
No, it is Japan, is what we're saying.
Yeah.
Not everyone. There are some races, and they'll describe them as like either having big eyes or eyes like a child. That's how the book describes them.
I'm sorry.
Because to the characters in the book, to them, the epicanthic folds, that's just normal. That's how everyone is. When people don't have it, then it just looks weird to them. So it's...
Is she telling me I gotta come up with another Asian cast? That was already hard enough with fucking Emperor's Soul.
Well,
I
you
feel like
gotta
I
watch
used
some more
every Japanese actor I
Asian
knew.
movies.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
No, Justin, this one will be even harder. Because think about how Shallan's described. She's described as like pretty much like an Irish or like a Scottish woman, like paler skin with red hair.
And with an like fold eye.
Yes.
All right, so we'll just have to find some really, really good mixed race children to play these.
Look at models, and like I feel like there's a lot of mixed race models.
Yeah, so
but then they're not going to be good
since
actors.
since Sheta was bringing up a bunch of anime stuff. Figured I'd
This
throw
book-
that in there for you.
Very interesting. The weird, like the implications of race stuff, I think is very interesting in this book. The dark eyes people, the weird marble skin people, like distinctly being a type of person who is of a slave race, you know, like I think that's all very interesting. And like I always appreciate doing stuff like that in a fictional world, like in Star Trek. So I think it's very interesting.
Yeah, I think I've always wondered why they don't make up more races when you do fantasy, why they always base it so much on ours, you know. You could do any random shit, so I think that's very fun and interesting.
Then you can play with ideas that you can just get rid of our real world stuff and just think of the ideas.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Any other theories or predictions you two want to throw out?
I just like Sheta's theories. I subscribed to almost all of them this time.
You cheater.
Well, I like the Death Spren collecting. I think that's cool. And I like the ocean one.
I have a theory. I don't know, this is kind of random, but I think that one guy in oh no, what's her name? Shallan's family.
Shallan?
Yeah. Shallan's family, like Lewis or something, where he knew how to use the power glove. I think he's somehow responsible for her father's death.
His name was Luesh, and he's their steward.
Yeah, Lewis.
Luesh.
That's how I remembered it. Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis, I got it.
Lewis, yeah. I think he is somehow connected to her father's death. If he also knew if he knew about the power glove and knew how to use it, and now he's pretending it doesn't work, I wonder if he's related to anything.
Is it just officially called the Power Glove now, Sheta?
I forgot what it was called.
No, I like it. I dig it.
Soulcaster. A Cascom, or what is that called? No, I forgot what it's called. Never mind.
Well, let's just move on to our characters of the week then.
Mine's Jasnah again, for being very logical. And that's really it, for being very logical. And also being kind of nice while kind of a bitch at the same time.
Also, it's pronounced Jasnah.
Jasnah, yeah. I was mixing up the main girl's name and her name, wasn't I?
Like, who are you talking about?
I guess they fused into one character in my head. Jasnah. Yep, there you go.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna go with Shallan as my favorite character for winning me over, and then also winning Jasnah over in her plan. And for meeting a cute guy, yeah.
Yeah, that's quite a turnaround with what you were saying last week.
Also, I really liked that she was scared when people yelled. I really related with that.
That was an interesting character trait to have.
Yeah. Like,
she
I
gets
really
anxiety with conflict, yeah.
When someone yells and you're like, oh, why? I really like that. I really like, her thinking that that guy was cute, even though he was a monk. You know, really related to that.
Really connecting to her and Cabsal flirting, her thinking that he's cute. What are you going to do if he never shows up again in the book?
He better show up in 3 books. He better show up at least once.
Here's the thing, before I'd be like, shitty, you're reading too much into this. But ever since she called that fucking Vin had feelings for friggin' Zane, which I thought was just asinine. I don't know. I think she understands Brandon Sanderson better than I do, apparently.
Sanderson is a kindred spirit to me.
I guess
I feel like we are the same.
Sheta was also able to call the Claude and Jules.
See?
Yeah, that one too.
We are kindred
Jesus.
spirit. Yep.
And you just know he's holding back the stuff he really wants to do.
I feel it. I feel it for him. These two are gonna bang hard.
I don't think so. There hasn't been any banging in these books. That has not been a thing. That's all fade to black stuff.
No way.
Also, I just want to point out Shallan, she is kind of a noble woman, and with fantasy stories and noble women, they want them to, like, quote unquote, keep their virtue, especially with how much she's talked about marrying well in the story.
Which will just make it more juicy when they actually bang.
Yeah, it's like Marjorie says, you just say that you lost it while riding a horse.
Yeah, it's all about the illusion. No.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this whole setup with her wanting to marry well and him being a priest and a monk and stuff, it's only going to make it more interesting when they fall for each other. Brandon Sanderson's a freak. Just saying.
I don't think I'd go that far, but he's more of one than I expected, that's for sure.
All right. So for my character, I'm going to go with Syl. Just for her coming in, saving Kaladin from killing himself, and then also getting him to get back his determination that he used to have and try to help these bridgemen.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now let's go on to our quotes.
All right. I will go first. My quote is, which was the other character I would have picked from Y'all and Shallan. Okay. Well, it's true, he said, putting his hands on his hips, stopping. So that's it. You're going to give up? She gave him a perplexed stare. He stood there on the busy roadway, lit from above by a lantern burning yellow-orange, hands on his hips, while Thalen eyebrows drooping along the sides of his face, bare-chested under his open vest. That was no posture no citizen, no matter how high-ranked, had ever taken at her father's mansion. I did try to persuade her, Shallan said, blushing. I went to her a second time, and she rejected me again. 2 times, eh? In cards, you always get a try a third hand. It wins the most often. Shallan frowned. But that's not really true. The laws of probability and statistics. I don't know about much blustering math, Yelp said, folding his arms. But I do know the passions. You win when you need it most, you see. The passions. Pagan superstition. Of course. Jasnah had referred to the glyph words as superstition too, so perhaps it all came down to perspective. Try a third time. Shallan shivered to consider Jasnah's wrath if Shallan bothered her yet again, but she'd surely withdraw the offer to come study with her in the future. I just thought that I like the simple man's belief in something, and in this kind of world, believing in luck or the passions is as valid as believing in math or logics or the real magic that's in this world. I really like that. I just really like the idea of luck and superstition being as valid.
There's a lot of stuff in that quote, Sheta. A lot of good stuff, I mean.
Yeah, I really like that. As someone who kind of, I do believe in like tarot cards and horoscopes and that kind of stuff, and like superstitions, like things that we can't really quantify. I think it's really interesting that in this world, it could be something too. And we saw it kind of worked. It worked because she tried another time and it worked. So I wonder if it will become something more in this book, especially with the spirits, the sprites, or the spren, like those kind of things. Like they could be something otherworldly.
Could be. I'll be surprised if they're
I mean,
not.
I mean, like in that aspect, like.
You reminded me of something I really wanted to say, which was the two characters' themes were the same because she was going to give up and then try it again and then had a success. And then the sprite comes in and tells him to do the same. Both of them being like, what do you got to lose? Just do it, So I thought that was an interesting comparison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that goes with my themes of like giving up themes, like either like just giving into the darkness and just ending it all, or giving it up and like not trying anymore, just so.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a major theme in this book because it's been repeated a few times across multiple characters' chapters, And I'm all for that. That's one of my favorite themes. I mean, my quote is very short. It is, too many of us take great pains with what we ingest through our mouths, and far less with what we partake of through our eyes and ears, wouldn't you say? That's a pretty simple idea, but I think it's always an interesting one to think about, that if you just read, watch, and do crap that doesn't give you anything, then it's just as bad as she says later on as just eating nothing but sweets. I always think that's a thing not a lot of people, or not enough people, think about. Especially when you're just watching whatever your feed gives you online and stuff, it's so easy to get filled with stuff that you didn't even want to get filled with in the first place,
Story of my life.
A story of a lot of people, sadly, I think.
Yes. Stop watching TikTok videos. Instead, listen to our podcast again from the beginning. Get us those views. Or instead of spending time watching TikTok videos, go read Monster Girl Hunter.
Yep, that's what I was getting at. If you want high caliber, good stuff for your brain that will increase your intelligence, then read my work. That's what I was trying to say.
I mean, it's better than just doom scrolling.
Yeah, stop reading Brandon Sanderson. Ugh, no.
You
read something smart.
Let's be honest, you could read all of like Monster Girl Hunter in like 1.5 hours. Their chapters are short.
If even, they're very short.
All right. My quote is from Syl talking to Kaladin at the end. Those men in the bridge crew, Syl whispered. You could help them. Too late. He closed his eyes, thinking of the dead boy earlier in the day. It's too late. I failed. They're dead. They're all going to die, and there's no way out. What is one more try, then? Her voice was soft, yet somehow stronger than the storm. What could it hurt? He paused. You can't fail this time, Kaladin. You've said it. They're all going to die anyways. He thought of Tien and his dead eyes staring upward. I don't know what you mean most of the time when you speak, she said. My mind is so cloudy. But it seems that if you're worried about hurting people, you shouldn't be afraid to help the bridgemen. What more could you do to them? One more try, Kaladin, Syl whispered. Please. One more try. The men huddled in the barrack with barely a blanket to call their own, frightened of the storm, frightened of each other, frightened of what the next day would bring. One more try. He thought of himself, crying at the death of a boy he hadn't known, a boy he hadn't even tried to help. One more try. Kaladin opened his eyes. He was cold and wet, but he felt a tiny, warm candle flame of determination come alight inside him. He clenched his hand, crushing the black bane leaf inside, and dropped it over the side of the chasm. He lowered the other hand, which had been holding Syl. I've said it before, I'm always suckers for, stories where it's like a hero rising up or a hero like returning or something like that, and that's kind of what that moment is he's broken, he's all this, and then Syl just gets him to, just try once again, and at the end, he's getting his determination back and kind of standing up straight, feeling better.
Mm-hmm. I actually almost picked that as my quote, too, so I'm glad you said it. For, basically the same reasons.
Yeah, I feel like this book, especially later stuff in it, there may be some quotes that more than one of us will pick. There are some real good ones.
So I try to pick a couple now. I also really like the logic of, what are you bitching about? You literally could not make things worse. It's the worst it could possibly be. I think that, honestly, a lot of people could take that to heart in real life.
I really appreciate that, because I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Like it's
Yeah,
that
yeah.
bad, you know? Like
hmm
there's no other choice. I really appreciate that and I wish things were actually more definitive than that, you know, because you're
hmm
all like hemming and hawing about something. I like
hmm
with both options where they're like, well, I could either like just go home or I could just try this third time in Shallan's case, you know. And if she like yells at me and tells me to leave again, that's the worst that could happen, you know. Like
hmm
it's much easier to see things that way.
And if you don't, the worst that could happen is you're sold into slavery. So you can
Yeah.
really see it clearly that way.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'll just go over to. We don't have too many comments. So I'll just go over a couple of them that we had. All of them were from our Way of Kings preview episode. All right. Loading this up.
All right, well, you do let me guess. Haven't
Oh.
listened to these guys before, but I love Way of Kings. But I won't be listening to this podcast because that Justin guy is so fucking annoying. The end. If I know anything about comments, that was at least one of them.
Wow,
No.
you're so annoying.
All right. So first one's from, I believe it's pronounced Nace Lit 2, Journey Before Destination. You'll understand it later.
I thought you were still saying his name.
Oh.
Yeah, this
I was
is
like,
very
that's an epic
artistic
fucking name.
for a comment. Like
Yeah.
Nope. Just the comment was Journey Before Destination.
oh, okay. Yeah. We'll see.
Next comment from, I don't know if it's Jean or Jean, but I'll just say Jean Etienne Perrault.
Well, yeah.
Finally caught up. Can't wait for Sheta's and Justin's take on the series. I'm so glad she got the physical and not just the audio version, because I want all opinions on the art. I think it's so cool how it's integrated in the story.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, give more opinions next time then. Didn't really give a lot. Sorry.
Well, I did come up with a new theory from the art.
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
all we really had this week was just the Chull art.
Yeah, it's still.
I actually really love journal art, so I'm really excited for these.
All right, and then our last comment for the week's from Reader Warrior. Storms, you made it to Brandon's Epic. This is going to be fun.
Yeah.
Boy, y'all took
Fun,
the series
not
name of Stormlight.
guaranteed.
Boy, y'all took the series name of Stormlight Archive completely literally and ignored the name of this specific book.
Which was
Wait,
something.
you when you were all giving your predictions for what the whole book is going to be about, you kept talking about they're doing something with the Stormlight Archive and never brought anything up about the name being the Way of Kings.
Right. Well, I did have my they're all kings and they're fighting kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. That's true. She'd had a few king things. I don't think I had anything king related.
You like to keep you're like the opposite of me. Your theories are made for like real evidence and stuff.
I'd say a title's pretty good evidence on what a book's going to be about.
Yeah, but you still didn't have an idea about what it would be.
I don't remember what my prediction was, so I can't say.
I don't know. I recently read the Star Wars book called The Crystal Star, and the Crystal Star was barely a thing in that book.
Mm-hmm.
And continuing the comment, if this is red versus blue, then why are we here?
Life's great mystery, huh?
I used to be able to speak that entire episode. Well, Justin and I, we did that along with a couple other people. We did some Red versus Blue as a play for one of our classes in high school. We had to do a play, and we decided to do Red versus Blue. My favorite was one guy we knew named Tom. He played the warthog. he just had to hold a picture of a warthog, and he drove out. All right, Justin, the Discord you are sowing in regards to the epigraphs is hilarious. You talk about not trusting the Well of Ascension ones, but even in that book, the epigraphs weren't changed. It was just what Sazed and Tindwyl translated that was changed.
Man, I don't even know anymore. I'm broken. I'm a broken reader. I don't know what to trust.
And this last one was from Hit before when he was talking about the 17 Shard people. Also, yes, my freak comment was a joke. I love our arcanists.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So those are our comments. So next it's time to look forward to what we're reading for next week. And Way of Kings, well, Stormlight Archive does some pretty fun stuff where in between the parts, there are interludes where we are going to jump away from the characters we've been following and go to some other random places in the world for some interlude chapters.
No, what?
Yep.
What?
Yep,
I
there's
don't like
interludes in
that.
between the parts. Oh
Oh,
no,
God.
it's great. It helps fill out the world. And one other thing that Stormlight Archive does, where if you go back to early the page where it said part 1, it says part 1, above silence, Kaladin, Shallan. At the beginning of the parts, it tells you who your point of view characters are going to be.
Oh boy.
So I want to tell you the point of view things for coming up. That way we can get your live reaction to what we're getting.
All right.
So for the interludes, there are 3 names here. Interludes. There's Ishik, Non-Balat, and Zeth.
What in the fuck?
Hmm.
Do any of those names stand out to you?
Okay,
No.
say it again.
There's first one's Ishik, second one is Non-Balat, third one is Zeth.
Oh, we're gonna get some Storm Knights in here, right? That would be pretty
Storm
Is
cool.
that where
Knights?
the names are from, Sheta?
I don't know. They sound like
I have
Storm
no
Knight
memory
names.
of those names.
They sound like old Storm Knight names
Well, 2 of these
What's
names
that based
2 of
on?
from their names that we've heard. Weird.
2 of these names you've seen before. One of them's brand new.
Well, there you go. I don't know.
Non-Balat was mentioned in a Shallan chapter. He is Shallan's older brother.
Oh, okay, that's cool. I wanted to see him.
Zeth, you read an entire chapter with him as a point of view character.
Okay, yay! That's my favorite character.
He wore white.
Okay, yes.
That was your
Not-
favorite character?
Not a Storm Knight. He's the assassin. Okay, well that's okay.
Oh, you thought it was the assassin or the Storm Knight?
Yeah.
And
I can't even
These
remember our fucking characters' names. I'm not going to be good with these.
And the interludes are pretty short. So we'll be reading, there's 3 interludes. We'll be reading those. And then we'll go into part 2 and we'll read chapters 12 through 14. And so for part 2, the names we get for characters: Dalinar, Kaladin, and Adolin.
That's all on you, Sheta. I can barely remember Kaladin's name.
I don't know.
So for part 2, there was no Shallan on that list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's going to need to study and train for like 5 years. That's my assumption.
And one of those names, Kaladin, and you've also have heard Dalinar's name a few times.
Dalinar. Is that not a Storm Knight person?
Are you talking about the Heralds?
Yes.
No.
Dalinar. Nope, then I don't know.
Let me here you go. I'll read a sentence with his name in it. This is from the prologue. As he walked, Zeth was forced to step around Dalinar Kholin, the king's own brother, who slept drunken at a small table.
Okay, like the opposite of a god. Drunken, no good younger brother.
Jeez, that was pretty judgmental, Sheta.
It is. There's no one more human than a loser younger brother.
Jeez. Sorry to all the younger brothers out there.
You know you're not as good as your older brother.
Jeez, Sheta.
And here's another little one. This is from the chapter Bridge 4. If that were the king, the bridgeman said, then that would mean we were in Bright Lord Dalinar's army. The name was vaguely familiar to Kaladin. He's a high prince, right? The king's uncle? Aye, the best of men, the most honorable shard-bearer in the king's army. They say he's never broken his word. Kaladin sniffed in disdain. Much the same has been said about Amaram. So, those are the 2 references, 2 of the references we've had so far to Dalinar. And then the third name we haven't seen before, and that was Adolin.
I'm very curious.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always happy for more characters. There's almost no limit for me on characters.
This seems like a character palooza. So
Yeah.
Yep.
I thought we would focus on the 2, but no.
Thought we would what?
Nope.
Focus on the 2 characters, but no. I'm excited for more characters.
And after all the work you did to like this girl, now she's just ditching you.
Right. What the heck? Fucking bitch.
Yep. So like I said, next week we'll read the 3 interlude chapters, and then we'll continue to part 4 we'll go up through chapter 14.
14.
Yep.
Through 14.
Yep. So just read through 14.
Okay.
Yep, so that's for next week, everyone. So, we did our plugs last time, so we'll do them next week, not this week.
So sorry if
So,
that's what you were waiting for this whole podcast.
Then you won't see that I didn't post anything this week.
Yep, so I guess in the meantime, after if you're reading along, read along with us. If not, maybe go pick up a Star Wars book to read. If you've never read Heir to the Empire, pick that up and read it. You'll thank me later.
Meh, it's alright.
That's not what you told me after you read it.
Okay. I did love it at first, but you're welcome to your own opinion about it. But it is
Alright.
better than the sequel, so I will
high
say
bar,
that.
Sheta. A high bar.
Pick up Heir to the Empire and then read the 2 sequels, it was Last Command and oh my god, I forgot the other one.
Courtship of Princess Leia.
No.
Yep, that's the third one. Make sure to read that.
If you're Dark Force Rising, that's the second one. Heir to the Empire, Dark Force Rising, and Last Command. If you're just getting into Star Wars books, don't start with Courtship of Princess Leia. You will just be pissed. That's it, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Toodaloo.